Now, when I was older, it didn't bother me because I knew.
Right.
I said to Ryan, he said, Daddy used to be at my house all the time, remember? When I moved, we built the house, actually, he was the construction guy.
Yeah.
He came down every day and checked on them when they were building the house.
Yeah, my mom
Then he'd
doesn't.
come back and tell me and Sam what we were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Now, when your father was in the war, I was telling me, do you have a lot of memories of that? Does he?
I wasn't born during the war.
I mean, did he ever tell the stories a lot, or do you
Him and
guys?
when I went into the Air Force, him and I went to dinner one night, and he talked about a few war stories.
Okay, because I know I was like,
But that was as far as that was about the only time he ever talked about the
He
war.
didn't talk much.
Yeah, no.
I was trying to find the picture. I have a picture of him that he sent to Papa. That was him on the boat with the radio stuff. I got to dig it out, and then I'll have copies made for everybody.
Yeah, 'cause my
and then
mom
I got
did
the
that.
picture of him with the Irish girl.
Yeah.
There's always a picture of Dad with a woman.
because my mom doesn't have really any memories of stories.
I'll never forget one day.
Your mother doesn't remember.
Yeah, I know.
One day we were talking, and I just remembered something. Uncle Fred and I were real little, and Papa was telling her. I remember your mother said, she says, I hate you because you got all these memories that I don't have. And I said, if I can give them to you, I really would. I know how you feel, but I don't know what to say,
Yeah.
The other day I was thinking, the house down on Main Street, we lived in Woodbury. We came in the back there in the kitchen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then there was this little bitty living room with the steps that went upstairs.
Yeah.
And then there was this weird, living room or hall that Mom made a living room, and then the bedroom. That's the house we lived in with Daddy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can still see that. That's surprised me because you know what I remember? I remember being out back when Mom was and her uncles were packing up the truck to leave them. I remember that day vividly.
Yeah.
But how old was my mom and Aunt Nancy?
We were only 4 and 5. The twins were just babies.
Babies,
They were like
yeah.
9 months, 10 months old when she
Why
left.
did you move out? I know it was because of what.
My father liked twins.
Yeah. No. I knew it was.
My father was like Danny. Danny was like my father.
No. Because I always wondered about that. Because it was that was sudden.
She did for years. But then Arlene, the lady he ended up living with her husband, came to our house.
Okay.
And it was too much for Mom. She couldn't take it.
No,
He said to her, keep your husband away from my wife. like Mom could do anything.
Yeah.
She was with 7 children, 2 babies.
Right.
But she said, she said, I know I was going to kill him, and then you guys would be with nobody. I'd be in for
So then how did everybody eventually reconcile? Because I remember even young that Grandpa would come to Christmas and how did that?
Well, you know what?
It wasn't long. Mom knew that he had to be our, but she wouldn't talk to us about it for years. I never learned any of this until I was married.
I think Uncle Fred and I called the other ones really.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that until I was married.
Yeah,
And she started talking to me. And what she told me? She told me that she had to do all over again. She would have waited for him to grow up.
Yeah.
Because he ended up her best friend. They really were really best friends.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because he was over the house all the time and he didn't talk all the time. Yeah.
What do you do?
Right.
She had taken it, and then she's humiliated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but she had no family support. Her Uncle Sam moved her.
You know
Her
what?
family would help her.
No, I remember. I'll never forget, Carol. As long as I live here, I sat down one day. You remember when we used to have those picnics out there? And I sat down with Aunt Teresa one day, and she says to me, Frank, she said, I'm sorry. She said, all those years, never helped. She says, you guys must hate it. No, I said, you know what? When you come up here, I see her eyes light up. Oh, it would have been nice. It doesn't matter anymore. She wants her friend. You're her friend.
Now,
What's hard for me is that see how we are. She raised them.
Yeah, she
And
raised
I think of how hard life was for her.
Yeah.
And we would never let that happen to each other.
No.
Are you ready? That's what I said. You call me. So, I'm not saying no to my brother. You know, and it's the truth. You don't know.
Yeah, you know,
right or
that's
wrong.
like, you know, I wrestled with it out there a little bit, you know, I thought, you know, I send him a couple $100 and maybe there's something I don't get for Lee or don't get for Jamie. But I finally said to Lee, listen, he's in trouble and I can't see him homeless, so I'm gonna have to send him some money.
Yeah.
She's like,
And what would
you do
Nanny
what you gotta
do?
do, don't get upset. She said, you know, just do what you gotta do.
My mom always said, Danny told her, take care of Uncle Fred and later on in life, he needs.
Well, she knew. You know.
You never
It's
have
funny.
anything.
You don't realize until
Uncle
you're
Fred was a
a
failed
parent.
experiment.
You don't know until you grow up and you're a parent. A mother knows which child needs what. And you know, as kids, you sit there and say, oh, she's spoiled. So, oh, you know, Glory gets whatever she wants. But you know what each of your child needs. And Fred needed mom's baby. And you know, she gave us what we needed. You know, I sometimes thought she was a little more critical of me than she needed to be. But
She is tough,
but
isn't it?
she knew. And I go through the same thing with Danny and Nanny Kelly. I know that I bend over backwards for them, but I do it because Danny needs it. I give Ian what he needs. Ian needs the emotion. That's what he needs. Well, you can't run up and hug them. That's right.
Yeah.
You give each child what they need. And Carrie is so odd having the third one. She's the balance of both of them. She's just like both of them to a degree. And I have to say, I think for the most part, she picked up the best of both of them. But it's funny. Now I know. Mom knew. And how she did it, I don't know. We need tea here.
Yes, please.
And I always said, and doing it the 7 of you without any money. I mean, she was financially.
Yeah, without money.
Well, you know what, though?
Yeah.
Mom had the God connection, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mom would say her prayers and somebody come to the front. You know what? I just gotta go like this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there'd be somebody knocking on the door. You know, we had a gathering tonight and we had some leftover. We thought maybe it's okay, now we'll eat tonight.
Oh, my mom, I'll never
But she had
forget.
that from the time she was young and her mother went away. She had a really strong faith.
I'll never forget that story Father Esmond always told. About one of you guys running down into the middle of the street at the middle of praying, and you...
No, that was Danny.
That was Danny.
That was Danny.
At the Sacred Heart one?
When Nanny was dying, we were taking turns. Me, Gloria, and Nancy were taking turns staying with her. And that day was my turn. And Dan had come up to the house. And I thought Mom was dying those minutes. And I made him go home. I never let my kids walk anywhere by themselves, but I sent him home. And here comes, I'm watching him out the door, going down Walnut Street. And this car stops. And Danny talks still. I tried to teach him he couldn't. But anyway, he turns around and he points like that. And when the car pulls in, it's Father Esmond. I started to bawl. I ran out the hall.
I was talking about the story about the one time.
You had called him.
Yeah. And
None of us called him but him. If he found me, because Danny looked like a wilder. He said, are you a wilder?
It's like, she worried about everything at one time. And the only thing you could think to yourself, she needs some kind of peace. She needs someone to just reassure her, you know.
And he was such a good man.
So, and I'll never forget, I called he was up in Scranton.
Yeah, he's still up there. He's still, last I heard, Father Esmond is still alive. He's doing very well, and he's still working for the diocese.
Yeah. So I called the diocesan office up there and I said, is there any way for me to speak to Monsignor? He said, sure. He says, can you tell me what you need? He's not in the house right now. He said, but I promise I'll have him get back to you. I said, tell him Frank Wilder and my mother is dying. And if you call her and talk to her, so maybe she'd feel the peace. Because Father Esmond was one of those people that just made, he loved her. So, and he called me and said, what's happening? I said, Mom has cancer, and she's dying. She's in a little bit of turmoil. And I said, maybe if you talk to her and come down and talk to her, things will calm down, she'll get a little peace of mind. He said, well, where's Jack? She's at my sister Nancy's. I didn't call her. She said, what's that? So she's Nancy's house, and Nancy lives there. I don't know if it was Maple Street or whatever. He says, I'll be down. She said, don't get excited, I'll be down. So then on Saturday.
He was down. He was, I couldn't, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, thank you, God, how could you know to send him? And when he walked in that room, the life just came back in her. And then talking through the time, remember the day she called, she wanted all of us together.
Yeah.
Of course, we all got there, and she said, why are you all here? But she told Nancy she wanted all of us together. We all come down and go, that gave her that time.
Yeah.
And that, oh my God.
I'll never forget the last time I saw her. I know, because we didn't see her as she was dying. I'll never forget that room from walking in there. That was my mom always said it was the best time, too, that she got to spend with her a lot of time.
Yeah. It was hard for me. For me, it was hard, because forever she was just like
Yeah.
the figure in our family, and so it was just hard to stop by and see her like that for me.
Well, it was. Well, you know what, Scott? The last 2 days, I just prayed God would end her suffering. She didn't complain. She never once said, I can't stand this. But I could just see her suffering. So, and I never thought but that day, Nancy wanted me to give her the morphine shot. And I was in such a panic because she had been vomiting up the bile all day, and it was so awful. It was just so awful. I knew she was suffering, but it was so hard. I knew that she had the shot, and it was too close together. She didn't breathe, And I was such a quandary. I went out in the bed and I just prayed and prayed and prayed. And it seemed like the time just rolled by that it was time to give it to her. I prayed that you're at that point. It's too hard to watch them suffer.
Yeah.
You can't.
My mom, I always said it's the greatest, and I said to my mom, she was blessed. How many people have all their children and all their grandchildren come to visit them on the deathbed?
But you know why?
And all of them were. And
Why
all
was she
them
blessed? She was blessed because she was
She always knew them, but
nobody even questioned. Even Fred showed up when we called them. And Barbara was up and down from again. Nobody questioned it because
she was the
of
greatest
what she
grandmother.
did.
Yeah. She was. I mean, she's the great grandmother. I always.
But you always saw that dealing with Mommy and Dad knows him. Daddy could have never let me do for him, but I did for Dad knows him. He couldn't handle it. So God, I resented for so many years how fast he was taking it. Mom kept saying, it's not for you to question. God knows what's best. And until I went through that with Mom, I didn't realize that he couldn't have laid there in one of the houses. He wouldn't have.
I'll never forget the week before she died, she called me and she says, you know where I'm going. You gotta push the kids around, right? You can't do something like that. So, it's just hard for everybody. You don't realize how special you are. It's not about being special. It's about everybody's life. It's got to move forward. It's got to move forward right away. Because if you don't, you're going to stop in your tracks and you're going in a different direction.
Remember what happened with Daddy? Oh my God. For 3 weeks we couldn't be away from each other. Oh my God.
My mom remembers that.
I didn't think we were ever going to be able to be in our own homes alone again. It was like, I can't say it. I got to be over there with my brothers and sisters are. And Stan didn't understand.
Yeah.
My dad did. My dad said he understood what happened.
Well, he lost his memory with the Daddy. Stan didn't understand that. I mean, he was so shocked.
My father was a tough one because he lost his mother when he was a baby. So he's the one who actually understood how it felt to lose his parents.
And then poor Lou, it wasn't that long after Lou lost his parents. Not many years.
I don't have any memories of Mr. and Mrs. Lou's parents at all.
No, they weren't really part of our culture, but I remember visiting their place.
They're for Dad's
Okay, yeah.
Christmas Eve especially.
They drank.
Okay.
My dad remembers
My mom
that.
and Dad knew them well before Barbara Lou even dated because one of them we guess Dad being a bartender.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Greta was like a, she's like a bartender too.
Yeah.
At a bar. So my dad knew her.
Yeah, my dad actually, that was the first people my dad met was the Greta.